Heughan confirms heartbreaking news about his career that shocks fans. The interview took place in a small room in London's West End. The lighting was soft, the walls lined with old bookshelves and black and white art prints. Heughan arrived on time, dressed in a navy shirt and casual jeans. He looked no different from his television appearances, except for the look in his eyes. The look of someone who had something hidden in his heart for too long. The interviewer, a veteran journalist for a British film magazine, had spoken to hundreds of stars. But he sensed from the start, this was no ordinary interview. After a few leading questions, Sam suddenly sighed, his eyes pensive. Do you believe that, sometimes success is the heaviest burden an actor has to bear? The interviewer was silent. Sam looked him straight in the eye and continued, there's a professional truth I've never told anyone, and maybe it's time to tell it. Because it's too painful to continue to bear alone. Point 2. The definition of an actor, is it really an art? Sam talks about his early years in the profession. He used to stand outside the door of the Scottish National Theatre just to be an extra. Every day was a battle between hope and shame. I once played a corpse on stage, lying still for 2 hours, not a word. But I still went home and cried with joy. Because I was doing my job. Then Outlander came along. Sam played Jamie Fraser, a role that made him a global star. His name was associated with Scotland, with romantic love, with the image of a gentlemanly and introspective hero. But behind that halo, I started to get stuck in the image that the audience loved. Sam admits, his career, which everyone thought was ideal, has actually become a gilded cage. Despite being offered dozens of scripts every year, 90% of them are roles, exactly like Jamie. They don't want Sam, they want Jamie Fraser, in a different movie. He tried turning them down. He looked for different roles, a quiet teacher, a recovering alcoholic, a father with mental illness. But every time he auditioned, people asked, can you make it a little more Jamie-ish? 3. Every performance, a self-betrayal. Sam looks down at his hands, his voice slow. I realized, I was gradually acting according to what people wanted, not according to my true feelings. Throughout the last 3 seasons of Outlander, despite still being loved, Sam admits he felt like a machine. I knew my lines, I laughed, I acted out the pain. People complimented me, but I knew deep down I had no emotions. Some nights he returned to his hotel room and sat in front of the mirror for hours. Not to check his hair or fix his makeup, but to ask himself, am I still an actor? Or am I just a real-life version of a character? 4. The invisible wall of public expectations. Sam admits that the most painful thing is not the lack of different roles, but the feeling of betrayal if he changed. I once played a villain in an independent film. When the trailer came out, there were thousands of disappointed comments. Jamie would never do that. They wrote, he laughs bitterly. I'm not Jamie, but in their eyes, I'm not allowed to be different from Jamie. Even when he cut his hair short for another role, fans criticized him. Jamie would never cut his hair like that. I love my fans. They are the reason I have a career. But sometimes, I feel like I am a character living up to other people's expectations, not being sad, not being wrong, not being weak. Point 5. There was a time when I wanted to quit the profession. In 2022, Sam almost fell into depression. He wrote a handwritten letter to his manager, if I still feel the same way in 6 months, I will quit acting. He kept that letter in a drawer for 180 days. Every morning when he woke up, he opened it and read it again. Every time he received a new script, he asked himself, Am I choosing it for passion, or to avoid disappointing my fans? Then one day, in the middle of a cold film set, it rained while he was filming a crying scene. Everyone said the scene was excellent, because the rain mixed with his tears, creating a cinematic effect. But no one knew, those were real tears, of someone who was no longer sure who he was. 6. The Turn and the Awakening. When everything was almost falling apart, Sam was invited to participate in a small stage play in Edinburgh. No cameras, no fans, no red carpet. He played an old man with dementia, in a cold rented room. I only had 20 people in the audience every night. But it was the first time I felt alive. Number 1 asked him to be more masculine. No one asked, where is Jamie Fraser? Only Sam, a real person, with real feelings, broke out. Point 7. The final confession, and that is why today, in this quiet room, Sam Heughan tells the truth. I love acting, but for the past 10 years, I have lived as a ghost, an actor who is no longer free. He looked up at the journalist, his eyes shining, not the light of fame, but the light of someone who had just been relieved of a burden. I'm not saying this to complain. I'm saying it to send a message to young actors. Never lose yourself in a role, no matter how big it is. Point 8. What's next? When asked what he'll do next, Sam laughed defiantly, for the first time in the interview. I'll choose from the beginning. Maybe a small stage, maybe an unknown film. But I want to go back to work, like the first day, when I played a dead body on stage and went home happy because of luck. Success is great, but doing it in your heart, that's what makes me want to live. Quote.